We're live at the Festival of Dreams, and you can have a book in your head but not know how to get it out and make that dream become a reality. So Julie Lewin is joining me. Hello, Julie.
Hello, Ben.
How did you start this wonderful business where you help people write books, then you publish them, and then we get to the other end of the story in a minute and show you how it comes out as the finished product?
Because I wanted to write a book and I wanted to know all of the processes. So I researched and I did that for myself.
Yep.
And I managed to publish my book.
Yes.
And then my friends started asking me, well, how did you do that? And can you help me?
Yes.
And then I asked my daughter, who's the graphic designer,
To get involved.
And my daughter went and spoke with one of my clients, and she kept saying to Elise, oh, you'll have to ask Mum about that. You'll have to ask Mum about that.
Isn't that funny?
And then she came and visited me and she said, Mum, do you think we could do a business together? And I said, sure.
Wow.
So that's this one.
The Brand Your Book Intensive Program.
Your Book Intensive Program.
So is your background publishing? Were you in publishing for any part of your career, or you just fell into it?
I'm a qualified copywriter, but I worked as a PA to barristers and CEOs of companies and lawyers, and they got me to do a lot of their writing.
Which is a lot of writing.
It is a lot of writing.
A lot of writing.
And
then you had a book sitting within you.
I had a book sitting in me.
And what brought all that out? What was the catalyst for you to start all this research? Was it one epiphany moment sitting there one day going, if I have to write one more court report, I'm going to scream?
So I had two lives and I felt quite separated. Had my corporate life and I had my metaphysical life, and never the two met.
Yes.
And so one day I started combining my two lives.
Yes.
And I felt that I was ready to actually share it with the world and not worry about what the suits were saying.
Wow.
So it was a big moment.
So you started this here. So Awaken Your Inner Health, or Healer.
Yes.
So basically, what does all this represent up here? Is this just text from your books?
These are all testimonials from people working with me. So I run retreats.
Yep.
I do one-on-one consultations with people.
Yes.
And I help them live to their best potential.
Now, speaking of potential, if someone's watching and they're thinking, I'd love to write a book, or I have this feeling that I'd like to write a book.
Yes.
Not everyone can be an author, not everyone can be a writer. What's the best way to go about it? Do we approach you first? Do we write the book and then come to you afterwards? Or?
No, it would be best if you came to me first, or my daughter and I, because we help people bring their genius out.
Great.
And then we help them write the structure of their book and then fill in the blanks.
And then what about ebooks? Is ebooks and audio books part of all this, or is that just another facet to add to?
It's another facet. We're passionate about people getting books into print.
Yes.
And getting their magic down into paper so that they can help people with their little niche. And then we talk about the ebooks, we talk about the audio books, and we help them do that as well.
Fabulous.
So Maddie wrote two books. I edited them, Tash formatted them and did all the branding, and we did that, I think it might have been 4 weeks actually.
Well, we'll go down and meet Madeline. She's got, at the other end here, this is like the production line.
It is the production
So we're
line.
walking through, and I love all the Kmart accoutrements actually. I love the lamps, I love
that.
I noticed it all in the magazine. Madeline, how are you?
I'm really good. How are you?
I'm very well. Congratulations on your wonderful book that you've just produced. I mean, 5 weeks ago, you've been mentored for 2 years, and then you think, wow, I'm just going to spit out a book. How did you do it?
I've actually been thinking about it for 12 years, and I had a lot of content in mind that I'd like to share in a book, and a lot of people have really enjoyed my stories about my journey into entrepreneurship. And so this opportunity came up to be at the Festival of Dreams, and so I decided that it would be a great time to actually put pen to paper.
Can I ask you, entrepreneurial women is a big buzzword out there in the media industry now. Lisa Messenger was one of those people in the Renegade Collective world that forged this massive resurgence. What is it about being an entrepreneur that excites you?
Okay, so I think it's the ability to be, for me, it's the ability to be able to use all of me in everything I do. Mm-hmm. So I've been an entrepreneur now for 25 years. So I started entrepreneurship when I was 21. I actually, quite embarrassingly, handed in a retirement letter to my employer and assured him that I would never have another job. And that's exactly what I did. And so for me, it's about being able to use all of me in everything that I do. So when I was employed, what I found was that I was following a lot of instructions in order to achieve what my employer wanted, which was fantastic and an enormous learning curve for me. As an entrepreneur, I've been able to go to a whole new level. And for me, that also involves a lot of my intuitive work and being able to use the spiritual side of myself in what I do in a business world as well. So,
and tell us, what sort of job did you move into after you left the full-time world of rules and regulations? What was the next step?
So the next step for me was 17 years in sports marketing on the biggest events in the world. So I was seconded into and a consultant to Olympic, Asian and Commonwealth Games for 17 years, and I delivered over $100 million in retail sales to my clients.
Unbelievable. Now all this is bubbling away in the background, the world that you're moving into. Was this your own company that you started this with?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
And how was it hard to get off the ground? Like, we always only hear the end story, how successful it was. So when people watch these type of videos, I'm always intrigued to ask people, what was it like when you made that decision? And was it a scary risk to start the business?
My father said to me that 95% of small businesses will fail in the first 6 years. And so for me, 6 years was always a really big deal. Elation at the beginning, and then the hard work sets in. And this is what I believe. I believe that the high road is never easy, and yet it is infinitely more rewarding than a life of quiet desperation.
Yeah. The road less travelled is usually the road with the biggest gifts.
Yeah, and there's no secret. You have to work hard and you have to be able to take risks. And being an entrepreneur, you make mistakes, and I have made mistakes and I've learnt from my mistakes. And what I find through mentoring now and through my books and how I am able to communicate with people is that I'm able to share those mistakes and those journeys, so hopefully they won't make them themselves.
Now tell me, the books you've produced, which was the first one?
So the first one is The Lateral Thinking Entrepreneur about expansive leadership. So this here is all the ideas that actually have been the things that have led me into my success. So it's basically the reverse engineering ideas that have enabled me to be a success as a business person. So in order for me to do this, I've always been very congruent. I actually own a very successful healthcare practice. I'm not a practitioner, but I have 6 chiropractors who work for me. My practice sees hundreds and hundreds of patients a week. So everything that I teach in my books is what I have actually done myself. So it's not coaching, it's mentoring. And what happens with a mentor is a mentor has walked the path and shows somebody else how to walk that path as well. So this book here is about expansive leadership, and it's about all the things that I have done as a leader in order to grow myself, to be able to put myself in a position where I could succeed. And it's all those thinking processes and also some of the really dire moments where things have really transformed for me. That's all in this book. And then my second book,
one, yeah.
This one here is about transforming business success. So what's in this book is 33 really practical ideas for business people to be able to transform their business. So it's everything from you're in business and you never take a holiday, and this is how to take a holiday, to working out when you're in a situation that involves drama and being able to step out of drama and look at it from the outside in order to create what you want in your business, to how to get referrals from other people.
It's interesting. I was saying to some students the other day that they said, it's impossible to get this. It's impossible to do this with our life. I mean, nothing's impossible, I believe. We put our own stops on what's impossible. But one of them said to me recently, like, Ben, how would you ever afford to be able to buy a radio station? Well, I sit there and I go, that's part of the game. That's part of the thing. We all know we might not have millions of dollars to pull on, but if the end goal is owning a radio station, anything you do to work towards it is actually going to work to the betterment of that dream.
And also the other thing is reverse engineering actually means starting at the end and working backwards. What I sometimes find is that when people are working toward a goal, they put all these steps in the way to get to the goal. If you start at the goal and you reverse engineer backwards, you actually find that there are fewer steps involved. So I love it when people say impossible, because that's I am possible to start.
Is that like raising capital? Like, when you have to raise capital for a business, instead of going, it's impossible to raise capital, it is possible to raise capital.
Absolutely. Well, the impossible just takes longer.
Yeah.
So what I sometimes find is that I had a very interesting discussion with an accountant last year, and I was trying to do something that was quite complex.
Yeah.
And the accountant came back to me and he said, it's not possible, it can't be done. And I said to him, and if it was possible, how would you do it?
And?
He hung up the phone, he went away, he came back and phoned me half an hour later and he said, if it was possible, this is how I would do it. I said, great, let's do it. And we did it. So sometimes it's actually
Reverse
about
psychology.
changing. Yeah, well, that's lateral thinking.
Yeah.
It's actually about saying, it may be impossible, but if it was possible, how might you do it? And then actually being able to have expansive thinking, you bring in a whole lot of possibility, even from another realm when you do that, and then all of a sudden it becomes possible.
Well, you've made it possible. You've produced 2 books in 6 weeks. Yeah. So if people would like to buy your book, where is the best place to go to?
So it's on my website, madeleinecohen.com.
Yep.
So that's the best place for them to go and find the books right now.
Not only are you an author, and they say in the world of business, being an author is like better than a business card, you also do mentoring, you do public speaking.
Yes.
So people can look on your website and all those details are there.
Absolutely, yeah.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Well, there we are talking, well, a dream, creating a book, making it a reality, and then standing here at your own stall at the Festival of Dreams with your name on a banner behind you and holding 2 printed copies of your brand new book. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. It's been lots of fun. I've really enjoyed this weekend.